Nowadays, with balanced shafts and miniature Marvel computers, a turbo 4-cylinder does a pretty good job, and more than one company makes a buttery V8 that wouldn't tip over a standing nickel. Add direct injection and turbos and you have V12 power without the size, weight, and moving parts. But there's just something about sitting behind or in front of two inline sixes married at the crankshaft. The V12 is the triple-axis tourbillon of an increasingly quartz engine world, and it delights us precisely because of its excessive parts count. Oddly, Aston Martin considers itself a V12 company, even though its most glorious David Brown era depended on inline sixes. Carroll Shelby and Roy Salvadori won Le Mans behind one in 1959, and the straight six served Aston well into the 1970s, when its attention turned to Bulldog V8s. The company didn't get its first V12 until 2001, a 5935cc unit made by splicing together two Ford Duratec V6s in a CAD program. Ferrari is a V12 company, Lamborghini is a V12 company, Jaguar is a V12 company, though it hasn't sold one in years. Aston Martin? Well. But we're willing to forgive this conceit, which issues from Aston CEO Andy Palmer, a recent refugee from the upper ranks of Nissan who has two ideal qualifications for his current position: he is an engineer, and he is British. Under Palmer, and with company ownership divided primarily among investment groups in Kuwait and Luxembourg plus Daimler AG, Aston Martin is a brand on the move. The new DB11 featured here is the first shot in a rapid-fire, for Aston, anyway, 6-year product salvo intended to more than quadruple company output to 14,000 vehicles per year and put Aston on sturdy financial ground. Leading is the middle child, the DB11, introducing an all-new riveted and adhesive-bonded aluminum platform that shifts the emphasis from extrusions to stampings to create more cockpit space. It's due in US showrooms before the end of the year with a base price of $214,820. Next year the new entry-level Vantage makes its debut with a V8 from Mercedes, a dividend of Daimler's 5% stake in Aston. A redesigned Vanquish appears in 2018 as the top-spec two-door car, the styling of both it and the Vantage intended to build greater separation between the poles of Aston's sports car lineup. Convertible versions of all three will follow. In 2019, the DBX crossover, Aston's biggest gamble ever, will march forth from a new factory adjacent to a former RAF base in Wales. And if that isn't enough, Aston plans to relaunch the Lagonda nameplate by 2020 with a luxury liner aimed at Bentley and Rolls-Royce, market an all-electric 200-plus mile range repeat to give Tesla Model S customers a way to spend even more money, and produce more limited-run multimillion-dollar specials, such as the recently announced MRB001, a mid-engine hyperlimpet conceived in partnership with Red Bull Racing.